Greetings, everybody. Tommy Rat here with another installment of Punk Rock Revolution Stories. Alright, this episode we'll talk about something that's not really in the realm of the hardcore punk music, but did find their place within it, by fans that just like the music, regardless of what the genre was. Okay, we're gonna talk first off. Rest in peace to Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, Blizzard of Oz. Rest in peace. He just passed away at 76 years old. Prior to the last Black Sabbath concert that will ever be done, with him singing in the original lineup. Alright, so I'm not going to get into a long-winded history about them, but I'm going to talk about some things related to them and the hardcore movement, hardcore punk movement. Okay, so alright, so let's get on with this now. When I first got into music, it's like one day my sister was giving me a list of songs that I should check out, and one of them was a Black Sabbath song, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. This was like as far back as 1974, 1975. I was either anywhere from I don't know, either 12 or 13 years old at the time that I was learning about this stuff. And we used to go to King's Plaza to go shopping. There was like a t-shirt store there called the Plum Tree. They had all these rock and roll t-shirts, short sleeve shirts there, mainstream rock and roll shirts. And I told my mother, "Oh, give me a Black Sabbath shirt up there with the skull on it and 666 on it." I didn't know anything at the time about that. At that time, what that meant. Tell you the truth, I don't think a lot of people even gave a fuck at that time until that movie The Omen came out. That nobody was talking about that shit until that movie came out. Okay? Alright, done. Alright, so that was like one of the few shirts I used to get back then. Like, now, whoops. So basically they were basically, heard all this stuff like songs like Paranoid, War Pigs, Sweet Leaf, Iron Man. But I think after Ozzy left there, I don't know, later stuff was wasn't as good as their earlier stuff. But their early stuff was like really top of the line. If you really think about it, if you listen to their early records, they were, from what I heard, they were recorded at 16 track, and they had the same level of a good hardcore band. So, as a good hardcore band with that type of sound, that some people consider them the first hardcore band ever. Some people feel that way about them. Yeah, I mean, they're not the only one. Some people say Mountain was the first hardcore band ever. But I digress. But I mean, back then, I mean, around when I started getting into punk rock, technically the punk rockers were not supposed to like heavy metal bands. And the heavy metal heads hated the punk rockers and skinheads and the hardcore people. Until the crossover era started. But I mean, one band that the punk rockers loved and respected was Motorhead. That was one band. Even the hardcore people that came later. But yeah, I don't think hardcore was a thing in 1977. All right. Now I remember Bad Brains used to cover Paranoid in their earlier shows. They used to cover that song. Somebody even told me they used to cover War Pigs, but I haven't heard anything. Haven't heard no record cassettes on that yet. Maybe one day I'm gonna have to do a deep dive search into that. Let me see something here. Okay. Okay. All right. Now the second band I heard. Now the first band that I knew that covered a Black Sabbath song was the Dickies, Paranoid. Their version was like they played it fast. They didn't play it like at the speed that Sabbath played it. They played it fast. And one time my sister had that record, The Incredible Shrinking Dickies. You know, with these guys I used to hang out. They hung out for a bit in Brooklyn. You know, they lived up the block from me. They were like forming their own metal band, and they came to my house one day, and I played that record for them. They were surprised to hear that. I mean, and these were like the heavy metal people that got into some that knew about the punk stuff. They into that, but they favored the hard rock stuff more. That was it. But they liked the punk stuff. They did. And I remember Bad Brains. I heard this tape that the Bad Brains did live. I think it was at Max's back in either 79 or 80, and they used to cover Paranoid. They played it the fast way too, like the Dickies did. And later on, the Mob did too. Now here's some more things that I've came across. One time somebody posted a actually one time I was supposed to see Black Sabbath play at Madison Square Garden. The Van Halen opened up, but you know, problem was like nobody I know wanted to go see it. Wanted to go see them play. Wanted to go. And my father was like saying, "Oh, I'll have to go with you." But I think it was like 14 at the time. Nah, sell the ticket. I told him sell the ticket. Sell the ticket. I don't want to go. If you gotta come with me, because I don't think that would have been his kind of crowd anyway. All right, so. And here's some other footnotes too. Recently somebody posted something on Facebook where the Ramones opened up for Sabbath and they got booed off the stage. Well, I think I commented on that page saying like, well, they're metalheads. They didn't like punk rockers back then, and they were there for Sabbath. Facts. Back then, but like I told you, they didn't like us back then. They didn't like us, and we didn't like them. But then, when the crossover era came, they needed the hardcore scene. I stand by that. All right. Let me just check some things out here, because this is going to be so. Basically, there you have it in a nutshell. Like how Black Sabbath, influenced the hardcore, like had some influence on the hardcore scene. But let me tell you, I don't think they were. I don't know if they were even into our type of music. I would be more surprised if they were. But back then, the norm was, most of those people didn't care about the punk scene. back then, back when it was first starting. All right. All right. Let me just check something here on Facebook for a second. I want to check something out here. Okay. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I just gotta check something out here. First, I want to give a shout out to Miguel and the development team. They're the guys, you know, that be doing other stuff for me on getting the channel where it is. Yeah. Okay, I want to throw some shout outs to some people who have birthdays here. That have birthdays today. That recent birthdays. Eric Arce, Richard Despina, Lou Ortiz, even though some of them were yesterday, but happy birthday, happy birthday. Okay, okay, who else has it? Okay, Bobison, I hope I pronounce your name right. Okay, Bobison Punkarov, Bobison Punkarov. My apologies. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Borislav Zografsky. Happy birthday to John Ruzica. Happy birthday to Michael Skoneman. Even though yours was yesterday. So, happy birthday. If I miss your name, if I miss your birthday today, happy birthday to you. Okay, so that's about it for this episode today. So next time hold on a second. I'm just reading. So if you want to help this channel grow, grab some merch in the Bonfire merch store. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to update it yet lately, but if there's something, if that's what you want there, go for it, grab it. Pick up my book, Punk Rock Revolution, at Amazon.com. The link is in the description box below. There are other ways where you could send money to the channel through my PayPal. You could buy some stuff on Rakuten with the link, and even you know, become a member of the channel, and throw in a super chat throw in a super chat if you like, if you have some money to throw in there. So spend some money. Come on, guys, spend some money, okay? So I can make this channel better than what it is, instead of looking at all this crap I got behind me. if you think of it that way, I could probably put some kind of backdrop behind me. Something creative. Okay, so if you like what you saw, please like, share, and comment to show the YouTube algorithm that I'm doing my job here. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. And if you watch this channel, thank you for watching.